And it's a privilege to be on this platform to speak to the esteemed delegates and esteemed co-panelists. And good afternoon to one and all. And we are joining this conference in unprecedented times from safe confines of our homes and offices in different parts of the country. For that matter, some of the delegates may be across the globe and different countries also. The world has been turned upside down by COVID-19, which is akin to some of the worst black swan events in the modern world's history. It has pushed the governments, businesses, and the people to their boundaries, and its impact can be felt across geographies and sector. The impact is further exacerbated by increasing global debt levels, ongoing challenges in world trade, as well as the constraint faced by the manufacturing sector caused by slowing capital expenditure in some key economies, and the global declaration of the automotive industry. The ramification of COVID-19 will continue to reverberate for quite some time, and some parts of the world are still imposing the lockdown for the so-called third wave and other things. We do not know how the turn taking place. The topic which is given and which I will be speaking with regard to growth potential on the Western offshore. Let me, slightly, bring in the context. Not long ago, some energy experts were warning the world that the world is running risk to soon running out of the oil and gas, and that calamity was just around the corner. The global market may collapse because of high transportation costs and the global recession, said the influential geologist Colin Campbell in a speech in Germany in 2000. A time when fears of imminent oil scarcity were rising, self-sufficiency will become a priority. And yet companies have continued to find more and more oil and gas lying in the ground. And some of the major oil and gas discoveries were made in the last 5 years. For example, in the Guyana alone, and a discovery by ExxonMobil to the tune of 1.8 billion tons of oil equivalent. And there was a discovery in Karachi also. And there was a discovery in South Africa and ExxonMobil's Glacis in Cyprus and a Chinese firm. And these are all the major discoveries. When the people were speaking, the easy oil is over, but still a perseverance in exploration pays, and perseverance in exploration, you discover the new oil and gas deposits. Actually, oil is not there until you find it. What I mean to say is, we all assume the oil has been, whatever has to be discovered, it has been discovered, it is not there. No, it is there. We do not know. Only thing is where exactly it is lying. It's a billions of and millions of years of hydrocarbon accumulation which has taken place by cooking the organic material which has flowed into the then existing paleo seas, paleo lakes, and various parts of the thing. The world has gone several cycles of high temperature, low temperature. So during this process, the cooking of these organic material has taken place, and as more and more sediments deposited in various parts of the globe, as the continental drift theory and plate tectonics moving, and the hydrocarbons formed at different longitude, latitudes, has migrated along with the continental drift theory to new places. It exactly depends where the continent was there, where the deposition has taken place during the geological history. That's how the accumulations, you see the disparity of the distribution of the oil and gas deposit. This distribution has to be found out. For example, Indian oil industry has come a long way since the first discovery of Digboy in 1889 through concerted exploratory efforts. Quest for petroleum in India spans over 167 years since the first lease given in Assam by British government during 1854. A new chapter and challenging journey of Indian upstream petroleum industry began with the discovery of oil from the historic first well, Digboy number 1 in 1889, barely 30 years after the first Drake well, which was drilled by Colonel E.L. Drake in northwest Pennsylvania, USA. Indian upstream industry since then has traveled a long way through various socio-political changes and surged ahead with the economic growth of the country. Growth of Indian economy and the development of the upstream industry have always moved hand in hand, and sustained efforts by the Indian upstream industry have resulted in the discovery of more than near about 900 oil and gas fields, including 50 major oil fields, with an increasing production from insignificant 5 barrels per day from a single field in Assam to present production which is there in the country. Independent India witnessed an enhanced exploration activity in its sedimentary basins by the newly created national oil companies, the then national oil companies, basically Oil and Gas Corporation, ONGC, and Oil India Limited, which has opened up several petroliferous basins across the country. Now we have 26 sedimentary basins, out of which 8 producing basins are there. This spectacular achievement cannot be ignored, and it is achieved by the national oil companies, have brought the India into world oil map, and sustained exploratory efforts by the national oil companies, coupled with the initiatives by the government of India in terms of the new exploration licensing policy and of late hydrocarbon exploration licensing policy. And this policy mechanism is a continuous evolution process which enabled the growth of the Indian oil hydrocarbon industry. So, for example, coming to the growth potential of the western offshore region of India, being an exploration man, I would like to focus, even though there are several areas where the growth can take place in western offshore, but I will try to, looking at the time constraint and other things, I will try to focus little bit more on basically an exploration front in the western offshore, and for which, I have a small presentation which I will be sharing with you all. Basically, western offshore is basically dominated by 3 major basins. I am just finding it a bit difficult. Yeah, I'll do. I think my presentation is visible. Can somebody confirm? Visible? Yeah, okay, thank you. See, I'll just speak on basically, some exploration, efforts which can go on in western offshore for the growth of the oil and gas industry in the western offshore. So basically, before I move further on my presentation, I will bring in some key facts. So basically, western offshore part or western region in the Indian coast is basically, the top 10 oil producing fields are in this region. Say, for example, Mumbai High, Hira, South Hira, and NBP and Vasa East, Neelam, which together contribute, near about 56% of all top 10 fields put together. And similarly, top 10 gas producing fields, among that, Basin, South Basin, Daman, Sapti, Mumbai High, Panna, Vasa East contribute 78% of the total output by the 10 major gas fields. Basically the play development is basically the source where the crux, where it has these oil and gas accumulation can be brought to the surface by developing these plays. In Kutch Saurashtra Basin, basically the northernmost part of the western offshore is the Kutch Saurashtra Basin, wherein Paleocene and early Eocene, Miocene plays which are there. And in Mumbai, basically middle and late Eocene and late Oligocene and Miocene plays are there. Basically through play consolidation in Mumbai High, which belongs to the Paleocene and early Eocene age, these are the terminology which is used for the geological age. And then there is a lot of growth potential with regard to new play opening in Kutch Saurashtra Basin, both including the weathered dolerite and the Mesozoic sediments which are there in Mumbai, Paleocene and Eocene, and certain deep water, basically deep water areas also has to be further explored. I don't know, it's right. Basically, recently, a assessment study has been carried out across all 26 sedimentary basins. And while carrying out these assessment in these 26 sedimentary basins, two methodologies were adopted. That is what petroleum system modeling (PSM) was used for the data-intensive basins and areas. 9 basins were completely modeled and 4 basins partly. And wherever there was a limited data was there, aerial yield method was used based on the analogy in the other parts of the world. And for example, in the western offshore, Mumbai has been modeled through PSM because there is a sufficient data which is there. And Kutch Saurashtra, both the combination of both PSM and aerial method was utilized. And in Kerala Konkan, and it is modeled through PSM due to the adequate subsurface data sets, even though production was not there, is not there in the Kerala Konkan, because, but you have sufficient data set with regard to both the drilling as well as the seismic Western offshore basin's resource profile is like this, and basically major resource is there in the Mumbai offshore basin. Kutch has about 7% resource base, and then Kerala Konkan has 9% resource base, and Saurashtra has 10% resource base. And in the Mumbai offshore area, and this is a significant amount of the resource potential which is there, that is to the tune of 13 billion tons of oil equivalent. In Mumbai offshore alone, you have a 9 billion tons of oil equivalent resource is there, out of which, near about 50% has been discovered already. That is to the tune of 4.7 billion tons of oil equivalent. Similarly, in Saurashtra, you have a potential of 1.3 billion tons of oil equivalent, and then out of which the 79 million tons of oil equivalent has been discovered. And in the Kerala Konkan, similarly, you have 1.2 billion tons. Here it is yet to be discovered. And in Kutch, it's 898 billion tons of oil equivalent, which is there, out of which 71 million tons of oil equivalent is discovered. If you see a small, snapshot which has been given, most of these resources in the Mumbai offshore region belongs to the tertiary age in the geological terms. And whereas in Saurashtra, Kerala, Konkan and Kutch, the resource assessment has been basically in the Mesozoic sediments. And this put together, it has come to the tune of 13 billion tons of oil equivalent gas. With respect to basin prospectivity with regard to Mumbai offshore, and maximum discovered in place, which I mentioned earlier, 4.794 billion tons of oil equivalent, that is estimated about 50% of estimated total in place has been discovered. And it is basically a proven basin with producing wells, and the major contribution is coming from this area only with regard to the total contribution of domestic hydrocarbon potential, which is hydrocarbon which is being produced and contributing to the half of the total oil and 2/3 of the total gas produced by these operators in this basin. And shallow water has 96% of area uprise, and deep water is about 75%. Here, out of the 177 places which has been mapped in the different sedimentary basin, 10 places which are there in this basin, Mumbai offshore basin, including 3 biogenic. Largely, these are the basically carbonate deposits with occurrence of clastic in deeper place. There is a potential thrust areas are in Paleocene and Eocene place, including deeper place in Tapti Daman area. The deepest sequence which is encountered here is basal clastic over Deccan Trough basalts. Basically, Mesozoic potential is still is elusive and evasive. Basically, we need to find out, world over, if you see the Mesozoics holds the maximum hydrocarbons with regard to the total potential of the world. So still Mesozoics are elusive here. The major production is not coming through Mesozoics in our class. Maybe the one reason could be during the Mesozoic time, our Indian plate situation was in such a way, maybe the atmospheric conditions or the climatic conditions were not suitable formation of the thing. But even to say that it is not existing, we need to probe these Mesozoic sediments. And especially in the western offshore, these Mesozoic sediments are below the basalts. Basalt getting the imaging is a big problem. We need to penetrate these basalts and move further to a deeper parts of the basically Mumbai offshore area. So far we have been exploring maximum in the Sulphur area, and probably we need to probe the deeper place to find the exact potential. And recent discovery in shallow place of deep continental shelf opens a new area. We have been ignoring for a long time the shallowest part of the horizons, thinking that the basically the biogenic gas accumulations will be there and calorific value will be less. But it is not that, unless until we probe and we find out, this is where the growth potential lies. For example, if you look at the play-based exploration side and then the play-wise accumulation of the hydrocarbons, if you see in Mumbai Basin, we have, if you see the density of the wells which has been drilled, near about, I think maybe near about 900 wells. I don't know. I'm not sure about the exact figure offhand. I don't remember. These are the 10 places which has been mapped, out of which, if you see early Miocene, late Oligocene, mid Eocene, and Paleocene, the place all holds the maximum basically hydrocarbon potential in place. And whereas when it comes to the totally younger sequence, you have less. And similarly, towards the basement side, basal clastics, and also holds the potential. These also need to be probed further, and you need to chase this play. You need to map this play, and then once you chase the play, and then only it is possible really to consolidate the play, and then what is the quantum of the hydrocarbon which has accumulated in that play, that can be probed, and the reserves can be accreted and then produced subsequently. But unless until we carry out at a regional level, maybe using the latest technology, exploration technology tools which are there, you need to form up the drillable locations, and you deploy more and more exploration tools, your geological risk will go down. Your risk of basically drilling a dry hole will be minimized. I urge upon the operators to spend more money on the exploration tools in order to basically mitigate the risk of drilling a deep water well or a well which is capital intensive. Coming to the Kutch part of the basin, which is the northernmost part of the western offshore, this basin is uprised to the extent of 45%, and there are near about 17 geological places with 14 reasonably assessed. And subbasalting image is the key factor to explore the Mesozoic. Where from this basalt came, actually, really speaking, in a continental drift theory, plate tectonics, once upon a time, our Indian subcontinent plate was almost attached to the Antarctica. And when broke up happened, as the Indian plate moved towards the north to move towards the basically Eurasian plate, while moving along, it is during its sojourn to the northern hemisphere, this Indian plate has moved over the hot plumes and then volcanic activity which has taken place at the equatorial region. These volcanic eruption which took place has brought in lot of lava, and probably it has camouflaged the Mesozoic sediments which were deposited when it was associated with the Antarctica. This camouflaged the Mesozoic sediment, and subsequently the Deccan volcanics, Deccan, the Pune region and Bombay region, you can see the sequential lava flows, and there are intertrapians as it was moving in different phases of the geological history. These lava flows has happened, volcanic eruptions took place. You need to probe both intertrapian sediments as well as the subtrapian sediments which are accumulated much before that. But of course, so far, the imaging basically the sequence, sedimentary sequence below the Deccan basalts is a challenge. 2 offshore discoveries have been made, Kutch, after drilling drilling through the basalt, which proves whatever I am articulating now. Of course, several authors, several researchers have articulated. There is a possibility and the probability of existence of the Mesozoic sediments below the basalts. Only we need to map that, and we need to find out the locales where the hydrocarbon accumulation has taken place in these Mesozoics, and that has to be drilled, probed, and then produced to the surface and brought to the surface. To develop that one, it is an Herculean task to carry out the exploration and below the basalt, and probably you need to spend more time to drilling through the basalt volcanic flows and then probe the Mesozoic sediments. And the gas discoveries which has been made with a lot of conviction of the geologists, the further emphasizing on drilling through the basalt has made a significant discovery, that is the hydrocarbon accumulation below the basically Deccan Traps in Mesozoic, is a significant one. Once the hydrocarbon accumulation is there, that means you have found out the habitat of the hydrocarbons. Now you need to find out how big is this hydrocarbon habitat and how well you can produce. So these plays which have been discovered in the Kutch region has to be developed further and contemplated, and the best of the exploration tools has to be deployed in this region to map the sedimentary sequences below the Deccan volcanics. And similarly, when you move further south from the Kutch area, you have a Saurashtra basin. This basin is uprised to the extent of 57%. There are 16 geological plays with 13 reasonably assessed. And the sub-basaltic imaging and low frequency 2D seismic is the key factor to explore again these Mesozoic. One offshore discovery in the Cretaceous age is contemplated for development. This play need to be further probed and to assess the exact potential of the play. The play has to be changed again. Play to basically, you are moved to the basin level, and basin to play level, play to prospect level to the basically you need to drill that prospect and find out exact location has to be formed up before we move a drilling rig to probe that drillable prospects in that region. And it holds a lot of potential. Only thing is you have to deploy the basically the right tools and the right people and right skill development of the people who are involved in these exploration teams is the need of the hour. And Kutch Saurashtra basin, basically based on the data availability and the resources are estimated. Of course, there are people who are expressing the doubt with regard to the resources, but the resources, when you assess, we assume several factors. It doesn't mean that it is totally wrong or hypothetical, or it is motivated to carry out, maybe the dummy drilling or all that sort of words are being used. It is not really exactly. We also, operators also need to be prudent before deploying the high cost intensive drilling rig to drill the drillable prospects. These resources have been estimated. Okay, further, that is the reason I have been suggesting every 5 years or maybe every 10 years with the available and additional data which comes through, these resource assessment can be taken place. That resources can maybe it may be brought down, or there may be upscale also. It is not that every resource assessment there will be upside and all. But only thing is you will be mitigating the geological risk. So whatever data available and whatever the play which have been mapped and the resource potential which has been mapped for the Kutch Saurashtra basin, if you see, the early Cretaceous formations holds as of now the maximum percentage of basically hydrocarbon accumulation, that is to the tune of 275 billion tons of oil equivalent in this region. And basin prospectivity with regard to Kutch Saurashtra as per 2017 resource study, this has been done with considering the data sets which are available until 2015, and the resource assessment has been done by a team and international experts, international geochemists were roped in to assess the thing. It is not done by a single individual or the few single individual. There is any estimation, it has its certain probabilities and plausibilities. See, you have so much of oxygen in the atmosphere, but still we could face the oxygen shortage during the COVID time. Somebody might say, it's a farce to say that, so much of oxygen is there in the atmosphere, why there is a shortage of oxygen. But there are limitations. Mankind limitations are there to extract, similarly, the hydrocarbon which are lying below the ground, and you are not able to extract the oxygen which is there in the atmosphere. Similar way, the resources are being estimated. Basically, a geochemist, what he does is how much is the organic content which has been there in the formation thickness, source rock, volume you take, and then what is the hydrocarbon, that is the TOC content which is there in the formation. Based on that assumption, you calculate the resources. The resources estimation could be right, wrong, or something like that, but it is an estimation. Unless until you probe and find what is exactly the amount of reserves which are there, which can be converted from these resources to reserves and then to the production. It is a long drawn process unless until a massive investment is required to convert all the resources into reserves. In spite of that, you won't be able to recover the best of the percentage. As of now, we have a recovery percentage of near about 35 to 40% of recovery is there. Of course, in the gas fields, you have a more recovery factor. But in oil fields, you have to that. Of course, with the technology development, you might recover more with a, having a better recovery factor, and all those things are there. So basically, all this resource assessment which has been done, significant accumulations are envisaged, and through open acreage, we can always bid for these areas and then probe the area and probe the deeper part of the basin and then find the hydrocarbon accumulation. Similarly, having spoken Mumbai offshore basin and then Kutch and then Saurashtra, coming down to further south, we have another basin, Kerala Konkan basin. All these basins are basically, segmented into the various ridges and basically rift basins which are there. And Kerala Konkan has a potential of 1.245 million tons, 1.245 billion tons of oil equivalent with 56% of area price. And here also the same problem, you have the volcanics, and the imaging below the volcanics is a challenging one. And broad-based seismic survey has to be carried out. Broadband seismic survey has to be carried out, and these data has to be interpreted. And similarly, the methodology is the same, has to be adopted to probe basically the geological place which have been mapped in this area. There are 5 geological places. Of course, these were all the conceptual, and this has to be probed further. Selfall area is around Cochin area is Cochin Low is a focus area, and improving sub-basaltic imaging is a key factor in this one. So basically, the Kerala Konkan also, again, it has the 5 plays, and in that also late Cretaceous age play has the potential to the tune of 0.97 billion tons of oil equivalent, and early Eocene is also has the potential. So basically, emerging facts is what basically, Mumbai basin mostly explored in shallow water, and shallow water and deeper yet to be fully explored. Mesozoic needs to be known through deep drilling through Deccan Trap basalt. Kutch, Saurashtra and Kutch, Saurashtra have established Mesozoic potential, need intense probe to find out the potential of the hydrocarbon. And Kerala Konkan has western deep water unappraised, and shallow water has a reasonably wells drilled. Petroleum system modeling suggests significant prospective resources. So basically, in western region, in nutshell, let me summarize. Basically, long offset in western region, long offset to 2D acquisition connecting all basins, and at a regional level, you need to redo the things. You need to understand the geological setup of all these basins, and 2D acquisition connecting all basins will help prospective analysis of comprehensive and faster. Increased use of improvised seismic imaging tools and broadband acquisition will enhance prospectivity perception. Studies on Deccan volcanic traps and Trap-Trapean sediments may open up new plays. Similarly, in the Kerala Konkan, largest basin in the area, basically deep water not yet appraised, with PSM available based on 20 well-drilled data. Late Cretaceous play is the primary target. Mesozoic of Arabia and when deposited had rich source rock potential, being proximal to the equatorial region, what I was mentioning with regard to the movement of the Indian plate and the right climatic conditions to generate the hydrocarbons. So similarly, most of the people will be having the question, why Arabian Peninsula has endowed with such hydrocarbon accumulation, why not we? That is the answer which is telling. Mesozoic of Arabia, when deposited, had a rich source rock potential being proximal to the equatorial region. When equatorial region was there, climate being very warm, and then these cooking mechanism will take place very nicely, and that's where the hydrocarbon generate through the heat process there, and which promoted the excellent organic growth. Kerala Konkan during Mesozoic was located towards the subtropical zone, and similarly in Saurashtra, Kutch Saurashtra also we need to probe further. As I mentioned earlier, the technology which need to be deployed in this region, that will lead to basically to discover the hydrocarbons. And basically the technology induction is basically an integral part of the hydrocarbon exploration. Some of the new technologies like long offset 2D seismic surveys for deeper imaging, and 3D, 3C, 4D seismic surveys, wide azimuth surveys, onshore carpet 3D surveys, node-based wide-angle refraction, and other thing, and broadband surveys and CSM surveys. Like that, several processing mechanisms like beam PSDM processing, common reflection angle migration processing, discrete fracture network analysis. These processing also, whatever the data which is there, which is available, uh, now in the world across with various service operators, need to be deployed before you basically drill the well and form up the location, and make sure you consult several experts with regard to accumulation and right spot where it is to be drilled, so that the geological risk will be less and the blame of drilling a dry holes will come down, and the people will also understand the inherent risk which is there in the hydrocarbon exploration. Otherwise, everybody would have entered this one if it is not a risky business. And basically, that risk-taking mechanism has to be there, and the investments are read. And in exploration, perseverance pace. We know you need not to worry about one traffic signal comes. That doesn't mean that you return from that traffic signal to your home. You need to wait. You need to analyze, and you need to further proceed on the path. Then only it will be, you will be able to discover the more and more hydrocarbon potential. So the growth potential is there in the Western offshore. So how much growth potential, unless until you relook, you look for the bypassed oil, you look for the new oil fields in the old fields itself. Never think that it has been very thoroughly exploration has been done, whatever has to be discovered, it has been discovered. No, you do not know the surface. The intellectual input is required, right amount of training is required for the people with different technologies which are available, and how you infer the information from these interpretative tools, that will be basically enhancing your population. And then you are tend to bound to maybe found more oil and gas, and within the maybe probably all the fields which are there, you find some other zones where the basically, as I mentioned, the bypassed oil or the new pools within the old oil fields itself is a probability which exists. So the geologists or the geophysicists or the exploration people, whoever are there, they need to relook again and again the producing basins, understand the complete setup of the sedimentary basin, and then zero down to that play-based approach. What I mean to say, basically from tectonic level to basin level to play level to prospect level, and prospect to location level where you drill. So that should be the approach. You cannot, even if you are bidding for an area in an open acreage policy, NDR is there, where the complete data is there, legacy data is there. You need to look for the completely analyze the data, or obtain the complete data set for the complete basin. You analyze and then come to the locale where exactly you want to do intensive exploration. That area can be demarcated as the that area can be demarcated as a block, and then bid for the block, and then take the block, and then do a intensive exploration. But however, the broad understanding of the basin, broad understanding of the different play levels is the most important aspect in finding out the hydrocarbons. And the geologists need to be very optimistic. The exploration is for yes sayers, not for the no sayers. You need not to be disheartened. The major discoveries which have been made after a successive failures, the discoveries are made. The several people will be criticizing during that time, but one need not to lose the heart, saying that I drilled 5 wells, dry wells, I cannot go further. No, it is not that. If your conviction says the hydrocarbon accumulation is there, even after drilling 16 wells and the 17th well, the Barmer Basin discovery has been made. And similarly in Guyana offshore, there were several wells which were drilled, dry wells. After that they discovered. Once they discovered, they started chasing the play. Now they are discovering several the pools, satellite fields which are around the major discovery in the Guyana Basin. Similar Guyana discovery is the probability and the possibility in the east coast offshore. Only we need to intensify exploration in the eastern part also, and the deeper part of the western offshore also. There is a lot of potential which do not have all the day-to-day nitty-gritty problems in offshore areas. Offshore area is the one where you can intensify the exploration. Exploration tools you deploy more, and maybe the exploration budget need to be little bit more than the drilling budget. Of course, drilling is also component of exploration. What I mean to say is, before deploying the rigs, basically the major investment has to come in in basically understanding the basin, deploying the tools, and reprocessing even the old legacy data also. Like you could see, 100 years old photograph is now started speaking because of the image enhancement techniques. Though similarly, you might discover some of the fields by assessing and by processing and by interpreting the old legacy data also, and integrate that old legacy data set with the new data set. That is where the potential lies. And I'm very extremely thankful I could articulate whatever the thought processes which I had in this forum, and for giving me the opportunity, and I'm also thankful by my esteemed panelists and chair and co-chair. And it is a motivating thing to work in DGH, and looking at the government perspective. Government is there to provide the several incentives. Only thing is, whenever the operator has to come, if he is coming with the problem, come with the possible solutions also, 2-3 solutions. We are here to listen, and then basically encourage the various potential investors, potential operators, and in mitigating the day-to-day the policy problems and policy regulatory problems and all those things. Whatever is possible within the framework of the rules. And if the rules have to be little bit amended, that is also can be taken up with the higher appropriate authority. So the potential lies both in the eastern offshore and western offshore. Only thing is we need to perseverance and discover. We don't have any other mandate except for increasing the production, as goal has been set by the Honorable Prime Minister to reduce the hydrocarbon. In India, whatever the renewable comes, whatever it comes, that renewables is only going to eat into the growth of the energy demand. It is not going to disrupt whatever energy which is being produced. We are far behind the demand supply gap actually. We are almost importing 85%. I don't think even we will be beating into the coal energy also. As the more and more renewable energy comes in, India being a tropical country, I feel sunshine is the new oil. And I think we are completing the complete cycle of energy transition, as Anirban has said. From solar, we started human civilization. I think probably we are going to derive a lot of energy from the sun only in future also. And especially for a country like India, only we need to manufacture and produce the right battery technology and very powerful solar panels, which is required. I don't know about other energy transition elements which are there, whether hydrogen and all those things. I feel a lot of potential is there in solar energy, and the sunshine is the new oil. I feel so. Thank you very much.